After the event of all time that was Tokyo Game Show, we have the sequel to Level 5 Vision 2023. Chibi Hino is back, so surely everything will go as planned. Almost half of the presentation was dedicated to Inazuma 11 Victory Road, so let's jump straight in and talk about what exactly was revealed for this game. We get started with a brand new trailer that gives us a little bit of everything. We get an overview of the gameplay mechanics. Of course, a lot of these we already know about, like Scramble and In the Zone, but this is where we get confirmation that shot chains, blocks and long shots are back in the game, as well as special tactics. Of course, we kinda expected this already, and even though we don't really know how the tactics, for example, are going to work, it's still nice to have confirmation either way. Funnily enough, it's revealed that you can get items like spirits in this case through winning focus battles. We know that you can use spirits to upgrade your players, so to have another way to actually get them is cool. In terms of the actual gameplay, there's a few things to note here. We finally have a new environment / stadium, which, about time after seeing the same background every single time. We also see actual numbers and stats on the screen now. We know this game is going to be highly strategic, so this doesn't really surprise me. Galaxy, one of the best, if not the best Inazuma 11 game, also is very prominent with the stats and numbers. I do hope it's maybe an option and you can turn them off, because again, I do understand their importance, but for me personally, I'm a casual player, so I don't really need to have or want to have all those numbers on my screen at all times. In terms of the special moves, we see a lot of players that we've already seen before, so there's nothing new there. We do finally get to see Bylong, who has Zigzag Spark and Dragon Driver. And we finally get to see Kamio Kodokai in action, completely overshadowed by his backpack, but he has the wall and illusion ball. No worries though, because we have a lot of new special moves to go over in just a bit. We then go over some overworld segments, as well as some more dialogue and cutscenes, which is always nice. These mostly go over situations and scenarios that we already know about, such as the Sakurazaki confrontation, which we have art of, and the baseball team rivalry. We then go to the biggest review of the day, which is a worldwide beta test demo for the game. This will happen in March of 2024. Of course, if you haven't realized by now, every single game that was scheduled for 2023 has been delayed to 2024. The idea of this beta is of course to gather feedback in order to improve the game. The Inazuma post will also be open so that people all over the world can submit their feedback. The beta is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, and it will allow you to select your team and the difficulty in single player. Of course, online PvP is the biggest part of this, so you have random and private matches, character progression, and you can save, but there is no transfer to the main game as you can see. And also, you can play through the first full chapter of the story mode. It looks like you cannot save your progress in the story mode, which is an odd decision, and you can transfer any data to the final game, which in some ways makes sense, but for the story mode it's very interesting. We also have multi-language support confirmed for both the beta and the full release, so that is amazing. But there's also a lot of things we just don't know. How long will the beta be? We're getting a gradual release, but what does that mean? I hope we get more info on that soon. About that. Okay, I'm gonna have to interrupt you. As I'm making this video, something really interesting happened. The ambassadors just had a meeting with Hino to discuss the latest Vision presentation, and they were given a lot of new details to share with us. And we have a lot of good stuff here. It's been confirmed that we're getting a Steam release for Inazuma 11 Victory Road. We've been talking a long time about the remaining Nagomuhara Junior High members and who they could be. Well, now it's confirmed that you'll be able to select the remaining 5-6 players from a selection of candidates. We also got more information on the beta. We're able to play the beta all the way until the actual game comes out. There's a lot of other very interesting bits of information here, but Level 5 is planning to announce all of this around the time this video comes out, so stay tuned for more coverage on that, whether that's going to be on Twitter or YouTube. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming. We did get a lot of information on the actual full release of this game, which is just slated for 2024, but we do get confirmation that we're gonna have crossplay and cross-save. And we do get a cool graphic that goes over every single feature in this game. In new features, we see all of the mechanics we already know about, but by far the most interesting thing here is the other section. We have a cast switching feature for event scenes. A lot of people took this as being able to switch the voice cast, which I think is definitely possible. We have a player and team encyclopedia, which makes sense. Then we have a toy integration feature. I first thought of Amiibo, but people quickly pointed out to me that this could mean that you can finally use your 11 licenses. I also made a joke about like the Ares bracelet, but I don't think that's actually going to be usable. And the big one, we have additional stories and systems via the Season Pass and the Expansion Pass. The Expansion Pass definitely seems like full-on DLC. In the online PvP section you also see additional players and teams added online. So that's definitely how they're planning to keep this game alive for the next 5 years. Level 5 has had games in the past that offered free updates with new enemies or new stories or new items. So this is not something that's new to them really. With that out of the way, we move on to a new video, a story event right from the game. This event goes over the strategy meeting for a completely new team they're about to face. This team is Eastwind Peregrine International Institute. It's mostly made up of international students, but their captain, Toyo Yamanouchi, is Japanese. We basically see Unmei and Haru discussing the strategy for this match, which I think is very interesting, considering Haru's whole thing is being bored with football. So what exactly are you doing here? We quickly discover that Eastwind Peregrine is very strong physically, but doesn't use any tactics. So Unmei devises a plan and strategy with this weakness in mind. So there's two parts to the strategy. We have the offense and the defense. The plan for the defense is all about being able to stop their striker, Kai Yoshizaki, and his new move, Cheat Blaster. This is achieved by using passive skills that work well against his wood element, as well as boosting the defense as a whole. You then use a completely new tactic, Flame Fortress, that doubles the fire element's defense around the goal. This is also where we find out about Gario Shisendo's move, Freezing Dance. All of these moves have incredible art alongside them, and I really hope every single move gets one of these. We then go to offense. Peregrine's keeper, Martino Leone, has a new move called Outer World. Spring Thunder, the first new move we were introduced to, is apparently not strong enough, so we're gonna need another plan. This is done by first using a new special move called Invisible Link, which doubles the power of a shot chain. This confirms that we can have moves that have secondary or passive effects, which is actually very cool. So now Sakurazaki and Shinohara can finally use Spring Thunder again, but on top of that we're also going to use a special tactic called Bond Protocol to further amplify its power, as they say. Seems a bit vague and generic, but I'll take it I guess. And this way Spring Thunder beats Leone's Outer World. So that is the Eastwind Peregrine International Institute Conquest Strategy devised by Unmei himself. So Hino follows this up by saying that you can either choose to follow Unmei's strategy or basically do your own thing. I think it's also quite heavily implied here that it won't go as planned. Haru asks what's gonna happen if they do happen to have a tactic. Unmei doesn't have an answer to this. So safe to say that this plan might work for the first half, but they're gonna need to improvise afterwards. This is also where we get confirmation that both Raymond and Royal Academy will be a part of the national tournament. We knew about Raymond of course, but Royal Academy, we can never escape them. I do really like the style of this strategy meeting video. I do think it's a bit too long. For this presentation it's almost 6 minutes. And also, Eastwind Peregrine is a localized name, so I don't know what they're cooking up there in terms of the localization at this point. I hope the beta will give them a bit more time to figure that out. So that's basically it for what exactly was revealed during this presentation. We have a worldwide beta coming out in March of 2024, and the full release slated for 2024. I think that could still take some time, honestly. We know that Hino is a perfectionist and is really trying to make this game perfect. It would not surprise me if he's going to do everything he can to incorporate every single piece of feedback. We can only hope he doesn't go back to the drawing board again. But right now, I am predicting a fall 2024 release, and for the fact that everything is delayed, Inazuma 11 Victory Road will still be the first game we're going to be able to play. A new level 5 vision is confirmed for April 2024. They're going to announce a new title there, as if they don't have enough on their plates already with Inazuma 11, Deca Police, Professor Layton. A lot of discourse this time around surrounding the whole release date versus release window thing. The problem is that the English side of things very clearly communicated a release date, and out of the 5 games, we only got a release date for one of them. It also happens to be a release date I predicted for Inazuma 11, so funny how that works. Look, for me, it's not a big deal. I can wait, but I completely understand people's disappointment and frustrations with this. Especially the whole Deca Police thing is just 2023 date on there and now being moved to, well, 2024, even though it said post 2024 during the stream, which was just an insane thing to me. But anyway, what did you think of Level 5 Vision 2023-2? Are you excited for the beta? Are you excited about the idea of one? What do you think of the new designs, the new team, the new moves? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to follow me on my Twitter if you haven't already, if you want to stay updated on everything Inazuma 11 related. For example, we are currently in the midst of covering the Arion dub, so if you want to be updated on that, get to it. Thank you so much for watching, drop a like, and I'll see you next time.